This year's class aim is to have a successful journey through faith, regardless of the events in between. The class motto: He has achieved success who have lived well, laughed often, and loved much. The class verse we chose is Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. That says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." Let me read it again. "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for the human masters."
For as long as I can remember, my parents have encouraged me to achieve a high level of academic excellence. And for a long time, I thought I knew why. I was under the impression it was just about being smart, getting good grades, being impressive, whatever it may be. At first, the grades that I got didn't matter to me at all. It was something I chased just because my parents wanted me to. However, after chasing large numbers on a piece of paper for the past 11 years at this school and accepting the award of valedictorian today, I realized I was wrong. I now understand that academic achievement here at Atholton Adventist Academy is about much more than grades. Here, academics are first and foremost a reflection of your character. How much are you willing to sacrifice? How diligent are you? Are you willing to try again? How well can you adapt? Do you possess integrity? Do you respect your teacher? And how well can you follow instructions? These are the questions I think are posed every day to every single student at Atholton. A phrase that I think that encapsulates my idea perfectly is, "How you do one thing is how you do everything." I'm sure you've heard the phrase before. It has existed for a while and has been said so many times I couldn't even find where it came from. However, the popularity of the phrase does not at all diminish its message. If a student is willing to dedicate themselves so deeply to an assignment that they stay up late or turn down hanging out with their friends to complete that assignment, how do you think that student will commit when faced with a bigger task in the workforce? What about a student who always turns in their assignments way before a deadline? Do you think they would often be late for meetings or other important gatherings? Or what about on the negative side? Do you think a student who is willing to get answers to a quiz from their teacher's desk could be trusted with the funds of a large company? The habits you develop as a student when trying to chase these high levels of academic achievement are habits that translate not just directly to the workforce, but to the rest of your life. Bad habits translate just as much, and often they're easier to develop. In all honesty, it is easier to use the bathroom in the middle of a test and Google the answers than to study the night before or than to simply accept you won't get the score you want. Part of being a good student at Atholton is, of course, making sure you make the same choices that Christ would and consciously avoiding the choices that he wouldn't make. It may be a hard choice, but nonetheless, it is a choice that will reflect in the rest of your life. Eventually, there will come a time when nobody asks what score you got on a chemistry exam or what your GPA was in high school. What will matter is the habits that you developed in high school. Whether you are dependable when people rely on you, whether you work hard when nobody's watching, whether you tell the truth when it would be easier just to lie, and whether your actions truly reflect Christ in the way you treat others and you conduct yourself. I'm of course deeply honored to receive the title of valedictorian. I have thought of this day incessantly since I started high school, so to stand here fulfilling my dream is surreal. However, I hope my message made clear that true success is not measured by grade or a number. True success is measured by character. Whether that be diligence, honesty, or perseverance. If we cultivate values through the little things like our assignments, and we can carry those things with us into the next stage of our lives, then I believe the class of 2026 and all the subsequent classes will accomplish far more than academic success alone.
Our speaker for today is a man who's very important to my life. In fact, he's been a part of it since the beginning, guiding me from the day I was born to the day I graduate, and he will continue to guide me. I know that we will all be blessed by his message, so I request that you welcome my father, Jair Parada Cabezas.
Can you hear me all right? Yes. I don't normally speak, and I didn't even think of asking if there was one of these other microphones. Sorry. So I'm going to move this one away, as long as you can hear me with the one that is on my lapel. So I was surprised when I heard first, where Joshua sent me a text, and I thought somebody else was sending me a text about this because it didn't make sense. I was driving, I think, and I saw a text come on the screen and said, "Will you be okay?" And I say, "When? How? Why?" And when I stopped by, I actually read the message, and it said it came from Joshua. And I said, "Why are you asking me?" And I was a little surprised. I had to ask my wife to find out what was going on. And then later I was explaining that the graduates had chosen to ask the parents to speak during the weekend. I thought it was special. I do feel privileged to stand here in front of you and share that. And I particularly feel privileged that you guys are giving me the opportunity to talk to you today, because really is for you. So at some point, the school shared with me what had been the theme for 2026. And I believe was shining his light, proclaiming his love, right? Let me just pause for a second there and mention that when we start the school year, or when we start any initiative that we might have, and we have a theme that brings us closer to God, then we start at least at that much we're doing correct. And I appreciate this school making sure that is at the forefront of everything that we do. And then when I heard about the class aim, it says to have a successful journey through faith, regardless of the events in between. I thought, that's very thoughtful, particularly when we talk about regardless of the events in between, because events in between can be many and can move us from the direction that we go. And in fact, when I think about a journey on this world, I don't see it as a linear, one direction journey, but rather a bit more of a zigzag that eventually, if we allow God to lead us, will bring us to the path that He had planned for us. The class motto is, like Sean so good did for us, he has achieved success, who has lived well, laughed often, and loved much. Yes, a lesson for us to think about. And the verse is in Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Now you have chosen these, and I know that these you chose as your last year of school. What has driven you, at least since you chose them. But today, in the commencement address, I want to encourage you to carry these beyond this moment or this year of school. Now, what I want to share with you, and I was trying to figure out, because, like I said, I don't know much about these ceremonies, but and I didn't know if I needed to talk long or short. So, because I'm not a pastor, I'm going to speak short. Just joking. Some pastors speak short. So, what I wanted to share with you is really how you can carry these You can carry your aim, your motto through life successfully. So how do we achieve those lofty goals in life? And I do commend you for choosing those goals, because not all of us, when we sit to think about this, we choose the goals that you guys have chosen. Let me just preamble what I'm going to say to you, that nothing good comes naturally from us. And that's the part that took me many years to understand, because we tend to think, oh, well, if I try to be good, I can be good. Well, in my experience, if we try to be good, we can pretend to be good, but not necessarily be good. We as human beings, even at our best, are selfish and proud, oftentimes looking after our own interests and often not worrying how what we try to achieve affects everybody else. Have you heard about somebody says he or she achieves what he or she decides to achieve regardless of who is in his or her path? Yet God, when he came to this earth, when Jesus was on this earth, he didn't achieve what he achieved regardless and, destroying what was around him necessarily, but trying to bring everybody with him. In Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4, it says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or empty pride, but in humility consider others more important than yourself. Each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others." If we want to be truly successful, if you want to be truly successful and have a fulfilling life, then I cannot be selfish. I cannot be proud. That's what the Apostle Paul is telling to the Philippians. And in the book of That I May Know Him, on page 176, the author writes, "There is nothing which will weaken the strength of a Christian like pride and passion. Pride of talent, pride of intellect cannot exist in the hearts that are hid with Christ in God. Then let us never exalt self and in the least degree. The motive of all our life is to serve and honor Christ and bless humanity in the world." Andrew Murray says, "Pride must die in you, or nothing of heaven can live in you." The challenge is that pride excludes things of heaven. So when we think about how to achieve what you want to achieve in your life, I will say to you today, when pride enters your thoughts, ask God to take it away. But the reality is that we all struggle with this. This is pretty natural as human beings. The reality is that not only it comes naturally to us, but the society, the secular world we live in actually encourages and says that those things that the Bible says are wrong they say they are actually correct. If we are not constantly connected with our God, we might as well get confused at times and to think that what the world is saying is correct. There is a lot of noise around us. That might be information, right? And there is a lot of echo to the things that may appear to be correct. And if we neglect our relationship with our God, we might also unknowingly think that what is being said around is correct. And not only that is correct, that we might promote those values that the world presents to us. In 2 Corinthians 3:5, which is not very far to the verse that you guys have chosen, but in 2 Corinthians verses 3, verse 5, we find said, "Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as being from ourselves, but our sufficiency is from God." You heard me a little bit before mention to you that the sooner we realize that if we want good things to come out of us, we need God to put them in us. Well, the sooner we realize that we are not sufficient of ourselves and that we need of God constantly, the better it's going to be for us in the journey of life. And we will find peace in spite of what we are living and what is going around us. That insufficiency that God is talking about is not to tell us that we are worthless. And the world at times will tell us, you are everything and you are nothing. And yet God says to us, you need me and you are worth a whole lot. The world entices us to believe that we can make our own decisions without the help from God and the wisdom from God. And later, when we make the mistake, the devil will send circumstances or people to tell us that we are worthless. And yet God is saying, you alone cannot, but with me you can. He was willing to sacrifice his son because we are worth it for him. In the book of Ministry of Healing, page 72 says, whatever your anxiety, and we live in a world full of anxiety, whatever your anxiety and trials, spread out your case before the Lord. Your spirit will be braced for endurance. The way will be open to disentangle yourself from embarrassment and difficulty. The weaker and more helpless you know yourself to be, the stronger will you become in his strength. When you are anxious, when you are feeling that you don't have the strength for what is coming or what you have gone through, the more we acknowledge that we are that, the stronger we will be in the strength of God. Because we're not going to try to do the things on our own. We're going to ask God for help. Corrie ten Boom says, let God's promises shine in your problems. I was just reading this morning about how, the last couple of days actually, 2 different passages of how us dedicating time to read the Bible changes us, not only on how we think or how we see things, but actually changes our brain and how we face challenges. And Isaiah 49:16 says, see, I have inscribed you in the palm of my hands. Might seem a little taken out of context, a verse of the Bible. But it's not random, because through the Bible we find these verses where God is saying, I know who you are. In fact, I take a lot of encouragement regularly from these verses because God says to me, he says to you, I know you, I know who you are, I know what you have done. Yes, he knows what you have done, even though your parents might not know everything that you have done. God knows what you have done. And it's not like we used to say in the past or here in the past, I know what you have done, and I'm going to punish you at some point. But rather God is saying, I know what you have done, and in spite of what you have done, I still love you. And I knew what you were going to do, and I sent my son to sacrifice his life for you. I take a lot of encouragement from that because when God said those things, I didn't exist. But he had plans for me. I actually like these texts, and I know that many young people like these. Jeremiah 29:11 that states, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. In the book From the Heart, Ellen G. White says like this, we do not have to walk alone. We can carry all our sorrows and griefs, troubles and trials, afflictions and cares, and pour them into the ear that is open to hear, of one who is pleading before the Father the merits of his own blood. He's pleading his wounds. My hands, as I have inscribed you in the palms of my hands. He offers the wounded hands to God, and his petitions are heard. And swift angels are sent to minister the fallen man and woman, to lift up and to sustain. God is not trying to punish us. He's trying to give us peace. Have you ever been in a situation in which you know you have done wrong, and we try so hard to deny what we have done wrong because maybe we are embarrassed to accept that we have done wrong? Or we haven't quite mastered the knowledge of actually understanding that that was wrong, and we're starting to, but we don't want to. Our pride doesn't allow us to. But at some point, we get caught and we confess and we feel a relief because it's over. Well, sin traps us. And then we try to justify ourselves at times that we didn't do wrong. But what God is trying to do is not to punish us for what we did wrong. We are punishing ourselves, in fact, at that moment by how we are, the kind of pain that we're putting ourselves through. But God says, come to me and find rest. J.J. Packer says, Christ's plea for our salvation is not just a gentle request, but a powerful and effectual intercession that secures our redemption and justification. If all of us want to achieve those lofty goals that you have put yourself in front, and I encourage you to continue to pursue to achieve those lofty goals that you have put in front of you, we need to seek the Lord. Make it your everyday habit. Make it the first thing that you do on a daily basis. This is not a chore. This is a blessing we can take advantage of. God is ready to give us peace. That which you say you want to achieve and more, the studies that you need to do, the careers that you need to pursue, that you want to pursue, the relationships that you are going to look for, the difficulties that you're going to face, you don't have to face them alone. We can face them with God. And if you remember nothing of what I said to you today, remember to seek God every day, first thing of your day. In Psalm 105 and verse 4 says, seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his presence continually. I encourage you, the big six. I encourage the big six to make that commitment today. The goal, the aim that you have is lofty, and I pray you don't forget it. But commit yourself to the Lord today and every day. And when you do wrong, it's okay. Ask God for forgiveness and strength to overcome that which you have done wrong. May God be with you, and I pray that you may choose to commit your lives to God.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Parada Cambesas, for your truly inspiring message today. As a class, we are grateful for the reminder that true success is found in not only our abilities, but in our faith and dependence on God. Your message challenged us to live with humility, to put others before ourselves, and to seek God's presence continually as we live into the next chapter of our lives. We are encouraged by the promises that God knows us, cares for us, and has a plan for our future. As we leave Atholton Adventist Academy, we hope to carry forward our class aim, to have a successful journey through faith regardless of the events in between, and to work wholeheartedly for the Lord in all that we do. Thank you for reminding us once again, Mr. Prada-Cambesas, that with God as our strength and guide, we will never walk alone. Thank you.
As the class of 2026, we wanted to leave behind something meaningful that would not only represent our class, but every class that has come before us and every class that will come after us. I would like to invite Mr. V and Mrs. Kim up here to receive our class gift. Our gift is a wall of framed senior class photos, which displays each graduating class throughout the last couple of years. We wanted to give something that will last and that will celebrate the history and legacy of our school community. Every graduating class leaves its mark in a very different way. So these photos will serve as a reminder of the students who helped build Atholton up into what it is today. In the future, each graduating class will be able to add their own photo to the wall, allowing this tradition to continue for many years. Our hope is that future students will be able to look back at see all the classes who have come before them that are connected through many shared experiences and school spirit. We hope this gift becomes a symbol of the lasting impact each class has had on our school. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. Did you guys miss me?
Yes.
I'm back. However, this time it is to discuss my fellow classmates. 4 years ago, we all started high school, scared, nervous, uneasy, overall, just unsure of what to expect. But those 4 years, we studied hard, stayed up late, and kept our heads up high. Today is the culmination of all of our efforts, memories, and challenges. We entered here today as high schoolers, but we will leave as the graduating class of 2026. Throughout my decade plus of schooling at Atholton, I have seen countless people come and go in this class. Yet the individuals you see before you today, this year's graduates, are the ones that stayed and saw it all the way through. I am so grateful for every person in each one of those seats over there, and I couldn't imagine graduation with any of them missing. Once again, the Atholton senior class has found itself as the smallest class in high school. However, that does not mean we are insignificant. I hope that we have made it clear to everyone that although we are small, we are still mighty. Fundraisers, planning, and hot lunches were all daunting tasks that had us scrambling across the school to pull together properly. The entire year was filled with these events, and despite the hardship, we still excelled at every category. The previous 2 graduating classes left behind some very big shoes to fill. Atholton's first ever graduating class, and a class that traveled all the way to Peru for a mission trip. I'm not saying it's a competition, but when everyone else had such momentous senior years, how are we supposed to follow that up? This was a fleeting worry, though, because I know one thing that no other graduating class at Atholton has ever done: move Mr. D's entire classroom outside at 6 a.m. on a Friday. The graduates you see before you today have forged their own path and decided for themselves what they thought was ideal for a senior year. It was arduous for sure. We spent hours in the kitchen preparing hot lunches, had several meetings a week with each other, had several meetings with administration, and faced uncertainty at nearly every avenue of our planning. But despite the hardship, we prevailed. And if you were paying attention, you would realize that just now, I kept saying words like we and us. That was because, as class president, I was lucky enough to be classmates with these other people who were second to none. I may have been the only class officer, but these guys were so willing to help all the time that it didn't always feel that way. I wasn't always there to help set out our trays for hot lunch, because I had class at the time. But when I couldn't do it, my classmates didn't skip a beat to step up and do it themselves. Daniel, Kayla, Amy, Joshua, and Sean. This year would not have been the same without any of you. Every single one of you should stand proud because you are part of the reason our class was so successful. Moving forward, none of our lives will be the exact same. God will take us all in vastly different directions. However, I pray that no matter where you end up, you remember. Remember the memories you made together, the resilience it took to persevere, and the ways that God has changed you during these years. Now, to our sponsors, Mr. Hyde and Mrs. V, we truthfully would not be up here if it wasn't for either of you. In case you all didn't know, Mrs. V took charge of the hot lunch program, shouldering a heavy burden in doing so. She spent hours poring over all the tiny details and the numbers for running the program. Without her diligence, students would have probably experienced much more missing meals and misplaced money. She was so committed to our class, it would be flat out wrong not to offer her our deepest gratitude. Mrs. V, thank you for being our sponsor. Mr. Hyde was there for our every meeting, always trying to make sure we weren't goofing off during them and frequently offering his own advice. In addition to his responsibilities as a teacher, athletic director, and coach, Mr. Hyde chose us to sponsor and to help. He helped us conduct every single practice for our graduation ceremonies that have been on full display for all of you this weekend, alongside being there just to help our class whenever we needed it. Mr. Hyde, thank you for being our sponsor. I appreciate all of you coming out to support us today and those that are on the live stream. Friends, family, guests, and faculty, without further ado, I present Atholton Adventist Academy's graduating class of 2026.
Well, this is not the diploma time. I know that's what everybody's here for and anxious for. But we would like to take just a few minutes to give a tribute to our seniors. So, is this everybody? Pastor Mark is on his way. So this class will be our last graduating class that has gone through or is graduating with a Griggs diploma, right? We're glad about that, right? Juniors, are you glad about that? Yes. Okay. However, you are not the last class. We're not going to forget about you. We're very excited, in fact, to follow your journey, to see what you do next. And we know that God has great plans for you, and like Mr. Parada said, stick close to God, and He will help see you through. So I have the honor and privilege of honoring Amy. I remember the first time I met you, I don't think she knew who I was. I was walking by her mom's classroom, and I saw her in there. I was like, "Hey, Amy, can you help me for a minute?" And I could just imagine the look on her face, because she's like, "Who's that guy?" Right? But you know what? She came out, and she very willingly, I think I had to bring some stuff in from the car or something. I don't even remember what it was. All I remember was she came out, and she lended a hand to somebody that she had zero relationship with, right? No skin in the game to help me with anything, but she was very willing. That's one of the attributes that we love, that I love about Amy, and I know that the other teachers have too. Some of the things that her teachers have said about her: full of energy, most of the time. Sometimes, During AMP class, but mostly full of energy. Amy, if you know Amy, she is wonderful with younger students. She worked in there, I think, with her mom this year. And when you watch her with the little ones, you can tell that she has a connection with them and they connect with her. Another thing I remember, this was at the beginning of her junior year. We were getting ready to figure out who was going to be class officers and things like that. And I was like, Amy, you need to run for president. Really, Mr. I don't know. No, you need to run for president. And so I pushed her a little bit. And she did. She was class president. And she did a wonderful job helping keep things coordinated. And this year, she was our essay president. And it has been a privilege to watch you grow and develop those leadership skills. And I have been blessed to be a part of that journey with you. So thank you so much. And we're so happy to see where you're going to go from here.
So Jemiah, I get to share a few ways that you allow Atholton to shine even brighter, and there are many ways that you do that. One of the first ones that was mentioned was you are a very effective sales pitch person when it comes to the hot lunch program. You mentioned that you're not there to help set it up, but you're definitely there to finish closing it off, and he does really good in going around. There was many times where I just finished my lunch, and he's like, come on, Mr. D, you know you can eat some more. And so very, very effective salesperson there. One of the other ways that you definitely help shine for Atholton is you're there almost every single day for arrivals, quite early actually, before most students have to even arrive, rain or shine, and you have been doing that for years. So great job as far as that goes. You're also noted for being a leader who will often do the difficult behind-the-scenes tasks, and you do it very well. You project a very quiet confidence, so that's something that you can be proud of. You are a friend to our kindergarten crowd. They know you very well, and you get along very well with them and help them a lot. You're very respectful and responsible. And I have just a couple personal memories, just two personal memories I want to share with you. He took pre-calculus this year from me, not at an ideal time. Math, I can tell you, is best done in the morning. They might disagree, but he had it right after lunch, which I suppose there could be a worse time slot. And there were many times, I have to kind of like roast you here a little bit, there were many times due to that being right after lunch that I would look. I only had 4 students in the class, and so there was everyone in the front row, so it was really easy to see him kind of like be doing this. And so I was a little bit mean, and I would actually see how much he was paying attention. I would actually ask him, Jemiah, what's the next step? And he would shake his head like this. And I'm not joking, 90% of the time he'd say, oh, well, you'll basically do this to both sides, whatever it was. And I'd be like, wow, that's impressive, because I'm serious. He would be nodding off right in the middle of the lesson. But so congratulations on that. You took a power nap, and that was able to help you figure out the stuff. And then one of my best memories, though, will be his friendliness in greeting me. Not only first thing of the day, many students will do that. They'll say, hey, good morning, Mr. DeWitt, good morning, Mr. D. But then anytime I would pass him in the hallway, he would usually be the first one. I'm usually the first one to greet someone else in the hallway, but he would almost always beat me to the punch, say, hi, Mr. D. I'm always like, oh, hi, Jemiah, good to see you again. So I really appreciate that about you. And I'm sure you know, like most people, we have a hard time saying goodbye. I've been your teacher for the last 6 years. There are not many teachers that can actually claim that about his student. They've been around them for 6 years. So you will be missed, Jemiah.
Jemiah, I'm feeling kind of hurt because I thought I was the only one that could put you to sleep. all these tears. All right, well, actually, I'm not here to talk about Jemiah. I need to talk about Sean. And there are a lot of great aspects I can talk about Sean. The one thing that stands out to me is his great athletic ability, especially on the volleyball court. I know Mr. Hyde and I have talked about his killer jump serve. Like, man, that is a nice serve. Or I could talk about that he's so lightning quick. That's what made him the perfect libero. Or I remember during Atholton's championship run 2 years ago that Mr. Hyde put you up front. You have to watch Sean stand up and see the other people against him that are much bigger and taller. Yes, but he would win. He would block and he would hit against people that were much bigger than him, and he would win. I could talk about their easygoing personality, and you have a great smile and how friendly you are. But that's not the thing that most impresses me about you, Sean. And this is something I don't think most people know unless you really get to know him, is that Sean has an inner strength that very few people have. Sean has had hardships and difficulties, multiple in his short life, that most of us could not stand or weather. But Sean has. Moreover, when he comes to school with a smile on his face. He doesn't complain and talk about it. And so this is the most interesting thing about Sean's story, because Sean has demonstrated perseverance. He has demonstrated courage. He's demonstrated the things that we want all of you to have already in his short time here. So when you're graduating, Sean, I know this is an academic achievement, but the achievement for you is more than that. This is a reflection of his character, because this is why you're standing here today. So we're so proud of you. And I know when you take time to reflect where you've been, and you now look forward to where you're going to go, you have the future open to you. Congratulations, Sean. You were so awesome.
Today is my honor to recognize Daniel. Daniel is someone who has brought humor, kindness, and a calm presence to the school community. Teachers describe him as a great conversationalist, someone who includes others, and apparently someone with very persuasive sales pitch with lunch leftovers, just like Jemiah, it sounds like. But what stands out most about Daniel is his willingness to serve. This last quarter, Daniel and Joshua, they had some extra time in their senior schedules. And rather than simply relaxing or studying, they chose to spend their afternoons in kindergarten. They helped in kindergarten. Daniel showed up faithfully. He was not getting paid, but he was willing to help wherever needed. Sometimes he was cutting out intricate body parts for the students to do an activity, or he was helping them to make some flower masks, teaching them to count in French. And often at recess, he would let a group of energetic kindergartners tag him at recess. And he did it all with patience and good humor. Of course, the kindergarten students, they absolutely loved him. One day, at the end of the day, they gave him some notes, and they said something along the lines of like, "Dear Daniel, thank you for playing with us. We love you. Daniel, thank you for the joy, the kindness, and steady presence you have brought to this community. We're proud of you. We're grateful for you, and we look forward to seeing how God is going to continue to guide your life."
And the remaining ones are wondering, okay, which one's Pastor Mark going to talk about? It's you, Josh. Okay, so today I want to recognize someone who, and we've mentioned this a couple of times, but it's no less true for you, Josh, someone whose impact is quietly behind the scenes. That faithfulness, not out in the open, not to get attention, but just because it needs done. Such words as gentle, positive influence were words that some of the teachers said. They mentioned, like we have for some of the other teachers, your influence on younger students. I don't think you realize even now, even as a teenager, but you will someday, but when you invest in those younger than you, it makes a difference for the future, and it also makes a difference for your heart and your future. Keep doing that multi-generational investment. One thing that stood out to one of the teachers was your gratitude. As the teacher stated, he's more likely to say thank you than any other student I know. Yeah, I could concur with that. But you know that kind of thing really shows a lot about your character. It shows that you are not stuck in your own little zone. You have a bigger picture. You are aware of others. You're aware of the needs of your community. That's cool. For the last 4 years, you've also helped with arrivals. That means getting here early. Rain or shine, consistency, another one of those powerful words. Consistency showed up in actually several of the comments from teachers. Consistency, character. I would be remiss to not look back and remember early when you first showed up here at Atholton, the first year here. What were you, like third grade maybe, fourth grade? So third grade, and I remember fourth grade year, you came and found me, and you and your sister both, and you're like, we want to study, get ready for baptism, that kind of awesome conversation. And we studied for a while, and I found it. We were dialoguing about this a couple of days ago. I found the picture of the day that you were baptized, and boy, did that bring back memories. You were more diminutive and had a lot less hair. But a great memory. Again, goes back to character, right? Choosing godly things first, then building from there. Josh, we pray that your future is as bright in your future as the time has been, how bright it has been here. We will miss you, your quiet influence, your character, your time. We can't forget that. We won't forget that. We are thankful for you, and we pray you into our future, your future.
I guess it's not a surprise who I get to talk about. Number 6, Miss Kayla. Not number 6 at all, but just on this list. Kayla, you came to us quiet and shy. Your real self kept safe inside this new school. You didn't know anybody. That's a big move. Coming here for high school, that's tough. But you're tough. Kayla's, I might be a little echoey, huh? I'll turn it down because I'm short. Whether classmates or teachers knew your story or they misunderstood your shyness at all, you were just calm and cool and collected. You navigated rough waters in life, but you have held your head high. You have kept your grounding. And we've watched your strength. We have watched you becoming more confident and emerging in different ways and becoming more comfortable. And we are proud of you. You are emerging into adulthood strong, kind, and good. You know who you are. You know what's important to you. We see that. We see you finding your voice, and it is beautiful, and it is clear, and it is humorous, and it is kind. You're still quiet when other people are chatty, but you laugh along heartily. You know how to deliver your line in English class, lots of Shakespeare lines with Mrs. D this year. You know how to land a good joke, right, Mr. Bediaco? They know what we're talking about. And Kayla, you don't just notice a need, you speak up and you step out. I have noticed that again and again this year. Like just the other day when Jordan needed a calculator and you had one. You stood right up and gave it to him. Or when Mrs. D was talking about plans with the juniors and you spoke right up with something that had not been considered. Or how many of my hot lunch mistakes you found and fixed for me this year. She was my right-hand person for fourth quarter hot lunch, and I very much appreciated that. We teachers see strength and confidence and grace in you that we love and respect. We're going to miss you, Kayla. We are going to miss you. Keep believing the best of others. Keep setting healthy boundaries. Keep pushing yourself into new territory, but keep what you value close to your heart. Keep strengthening your voice too, because the world needs it. It matters. Your voice matters. I know you've got stories to tell, and you've got plans for how to direct things. I love your plans for the future. They're beautiful. You're beautiful, and you are ready for those plans. Go and accomplish your dreams. We're so proud of you. Well, before we close this segment, I just want to say one thing to all the graduates. Got to spend a lot of time together this year, and the reason that we do this section of the, it's a very small school, and we get to know our kids very well, and we get to love them very much. And so we just want to make sure that they hear that from us. And graduates, this year we started talking, at the beginning of the year, we started exploring the concept of value. The importance of determining our own value, deciding what we value, so that we can add real value to the world. So on our trip to Tennessee, we stopped and did some searching for gemstones through sand, etc. And that turned out to be a lot funner than you thought my crazy idea was going to be. You know it's true. So we used the metaphors from the world of rocks and minerals as we thought about value. And so here you can see some of we talked about stuff like that. So geodes are like this big, beautiful blue stone here. They might at first appear to be just a common rock, but when they're opened, they reveal something beautiful and something rare, something nobody knew about. A common stone on the ground may seem like nothing special, but when you tumble it up with a lot of the right ingredients, it becomes really special indeed. And so we use that as a metaphor for just our own growing and emerging and that inner beauty. And at Atholton, we've seen your inner beauty shine through, and we just wanted to take time to talk about that today. In this next chapter of life, for each of you graduates, we pray that you each continue to discover your own inner beauty, the treasure that God's placed in each of you. And remember, too, like those little common stones on the ground, that when life batters you, a stone with true grit becomes polished, not demolished. So in your life, hold true to the values you've learned, and in this way, you will add real value to the world around you, as you have done here at Atholton. You are each a rare treasure indeed. So to help you remember your value to us as well as to God, I'm going to leave you with a small gift today, the geode that you got on your Tennessee trip that's been in my drawer all year. Still hiding its secrets, it's still closed. You guys can open it whenever you want or bug Mr. Hyde because he has the saw. that he says can do that, which is pretty cool. But I also have some polished stones and some geode slabs for you so that you can remember that as you pursue that successful journey with God that you guys have talked about, that you will remember that God can cause all of life's sharpest pains to produce your greatest gains. We'll be praying for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Villanueva. I am the chair of the Department of Biology and Chemistry at Washington Adventist University, and I am delighted to add my congratulations to you, the class of 2026, and welcome you to college. And now I get to do something very cool. I get to give away some money. But seriously, guys, these scholarships are recognition and acknowledgement of the hard work that you've been putting in over the last few years. So I'm very pleased to give this award to Kayla Benefield. This is our Columbia Union Scholarship for $12,000. For the Gateway Merit Scholarship, we have Daniel Bediaco for $16,000. Also, for the Gateway Merit Scholarship, we have Sean John for $16,000. For the Trustee Merit Scholarship, Amy Deeb for $24,000. Also for the Trustee Merit Scholarship, Joshua Parada Cabezas for $24,000. For the Presidential CUC Merit Scholarship, we have Jemiah Amirha for $40,000. Congratulations to you all.
Atholton Adventist Academy is proud to be part of the Seventh-day Adventist school system. The Adventist is the second A in our name, so it is an integral part of our identity. Our students do go on to other institutes of higher learning, both public and private, but we like to create opportunities for our juniors and seniors to visit 3 of the closest Adventist universities to us: Andrews University, Southern Adventist University, and of course, Washington Adventist University. 3 of our seniors this year are planning on going to Southern Adventist University, and I'm pleased to have scholarships for all 3 of them that I will give you guys later at the reception. All 3 students received not just academic scholarships, but leadership scholarships as well, which I think just says a lot about how we are creating leaders here at the school, and we're very proud of you. Not including the scholarships that Washington Adventist University presented just now, I've seen scholarships in the total amount of over $90,000 cross my desk, which is pretty good for a class of 6. So congratulations, guys. I'm so excited that you will be moving on, and can't wait to see what you can do next.
Are you ready? This is the moment. Yes? All right, I would like to ask the seniors to stand. First to receive their diploma today, Jemiah Amaher. That's okay. Yeah, whatever. All right, Daniel Bediaco. Yeah. Kayla Benefield. Amy Deeb. Ashan Isaac John. Joshua Parada Cabezas.
What a celebration it's been to recognize and honor Atholton Adventist Academy's class of 2026. We're so grateful for the ways that God has been guiding them in their lives, and we really are excited to see what God has in store for them next. So although we're celebrating this, it's a little bit of a goodbye, but also a hello to our class of 2027. I will tell you, this class is especially meaningful to me in the fact that I taught many of them kindergarten a long time ago. And so to see them enter into their senior year this coming year is very special to me on a very personal level. We are excited to see you continue to grow and develop in this coming year as seniors. I'm going to ask that you stand up because we need to introduce you to our school, our audience here. Yes, please stand up, class of 2027. And would you face the audience? Let's welcome them. Thank you, class. Class of 2027, you can sit down, and as a group, we will continue to pray for you in this coming year as you begin your senior year.
Please bow your heads and close your eyes as we pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for the high school experience that us seniors have had together. I pray that you guide us as we go into college and as we spread our wings and go out into the world. I also pray that you take care of the seniors that are coming in and help them to have a good senior year as well. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.